welcome to our practice today. Today is a gentle flow, and while it's not necessary for you to have a yoga block, if you have one, round it up because it might come in handy for you. Otherwise, grab some water, play some soothing music today, and meet me on the mat. So for our gentle flow today, we're actually going to start lying down. So roll out your mat, come on down to a lying down position. We're going to start really nice and gently today. Ease on down to the mat, just like you would do at the end of a class to relax. So that means just finding a relaxing place on the mat, either with legs extended or with feet on the mat and knees up and leaning on each other. Basically, we want to find a place where we can truly rest. So take all the effort out of it. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath you. Have a deep breath in, and as you exhale, close your eyes. We'll have a few deep breaths here, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Catching our breath from the day that we've had, and letting that day just fade away for a little while. If you've got a lot on your mind, or if you've had a busy day, think of hitting pause on all that and just letting your day fade away. We'll bring a little more mindfulness to our breath by starting to match the inhale to the exhale. So we're breathing in a way where the pace is steady and even, and the length of the inhale matches the length of the exhale. Just letting this pattern or pace or rhythm develop in a natural way, not forced, not rushed. And for an intention today, if you like it, it's just simply this: I am a work in progress. No matter your age, your circumstance, your occupation, or your location, I am a work in progress. I'm not done yet. I'm still learning, I'm still evolving. I am a work in progress. Let's have one more breath here. And on the exhale, start to wiggle fingers and toes gently. Maybe opening the eyes. And then gently circling ankles and wrists one way. And then the other way. We'll hug the left knee to the chest. Just hold gently at the hamstring. Have a couple breaths here. Just opening up the hip in a gentle way. And then maybe even rocking side to side very gently with that leg and knee. Noticing how it feels now that we're starting to move a little bit. On an exhale, just relax that leg back down to the mat. On an inhale, hug the right knee to the chest. So same thing, just getting used to this knee hug where we're noticing how the hips feel today. And then maybe starting that rocking motion gently, rocking side to side. Still matching your inhale to your exhale. On the next exhale, let's relax the leg back down to the mat. On an inhale, reaching overhead, point the toes, stretch the entire front of the body. And on your next exhale, hug your knees to your chest, letting the back flatten and relax. We'll put our hands on our kneecaps and guide our knees out in opposite directions, meeting in the middle. Just getting some gentle hip mobility work in. And then reversing the direction of these circles. On the next exhale, let's float the feet down to the mat, hip width apart, and somewhat close to the pelvis. Let's put our arms by our sides, palms down, and tuck the shoulder blades underneath us again. We'll gently activate the core, and on an inhale, start to lift the hips up for bridge pose. As we exhale, lower the hips back down. Inhaling, we rise up through the hips, and exhale, we lower. Let's start to match this up to our own breath and our own pace. Moving up on the inhale and lowering down on the exhale. Just finding your own little rhythm with this. We'd like to feel the front of the hips having a gentle stretch and the back of the legs and the glutes gently activating. We want to engage the inner thighs as well so that the knees are stabilized and don't wobble back and forth. And finally, let's think about relaxing at the face and the neck and the throat, trying not to hold tension there. Last few, if you want to up the challenge a little bit, when we rise, driving one knee toward the chest, pointing the toe, and then place the foot back down as you lower the hips. We inhale, rise, drive the other knee toward the chest. Put the foot back down, lower the hips. And we just start to breathe with that, finding the same rhythm where we inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. And you're free to choose whatever version you want today. It's just optional. Let's do one more on each side. Ease all the way down. Have a deep breath in. Exhale, rest. We'll put our arms out to our sides, palms down like we're in a T. And we'll inhale, lift the legs up, warming up the core. As we exhale, really stabilize your core, pull in those waistband area ab muscles, and lower the legs to a place of challenge. On an inhale, bend the knees, rise up through the legs again. Exhale, lower the legs. So let's inhale, rise up, point the toes, lengthen the legs. Exhale, flex the ankles, keep the legs active. We start moving in this circular motion, water wheel, where our focus is on stabilizing the core so that we protect the lower back. We don't want any strain there. We don't want the lumbar spine to rise up off the mat. We want to squeeze the core muscles enough so that the spine is stable, the hips don't rock forward and back. And if it's too much, we simply lower the legs less. So finish the one that you're on and then rise up. Last little challenge, coming down, maybe pointing the toes, reaching the arms forward and coming up to this hollow body hold. Squeezing the core, breathing with it. On an exhale, relax, hug your knees to your chest. Placing hands on the kneecaps one more time, and this time guiding the kneecaps around together in small circles. Letting go of tension at the low back. And then reversing the direction. We'll start to ease to all fours by releasing feet to the mat, rolling to your side, having a breath here on your side, and then pressing up gently, coming up slowly to our all fours pose. Once we get to all fours, let's place hands directly under the shoulders and knees directly under the hips for cat and cow. Stabilize your shoulders, and then on the inhale, let's aim the tailbone up, lift the heart for cow. On the exhale, point the tailbone down, round into cat. Inhale, lift the tailbone again, lift the heart for cow. Exhale, round into cat. Start to move at your own pace again. Gently back and forth. Keeping the shoulders stabilized. And let's think about starting cat and cow at the tailbone. Working our way up the spine. Let's have one more of each pose. Taking your time, ending in a cat stretch, gently arching through the back, and then taking it all the way back to child's pose, lengthening arms in extended child's pose. In extended child's pose, it's a great time to just check in with how you feel today, how your body feels, your energy level. How is it going now that we're flowing through poses? And just remembering to adjust as much as you need to, because every day is different. And of course, coming back to that intention, I'm a work in progress. On the next inhale, let's flow forward, palms plant. We come forward into a kneeling plank, lifting up through the shoulders for stability. On an exhale, let's tuck the toes, lift to downward facing dog. It's our first one that we've done today. We might feel a little creaky. So let's bend the knees a good bit and then focus on aiming your tailbone up so that you can flatten the back more. We're drawing shoulder blades down the back so that we don't shrug and have tension at the neck. And then have a few heel presses, bending one knee, pressing the opposite heel toward the mat, alternating, getting some gentle movement in the back of the legs, the ankles, the feet. On the next exhale, ease down to the knees. Take it back to that extended child's pose. We'll flow with this about 5 times. So rest when you need to and just keep breathing. On the inhale, flow into kneeling plank. Stabilize the shoulders. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips to downward dog. Have a breath in downward dog, lengthen the spine. Exhale down to the knees, extended child's. Inhale, flow into kneeling plank. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward dog. Inhale, lengthening the spine. Exhale, coming down to the knees, and then extended child's. Again, we flow forward to kneeling plank. We lift up to downward dog, exhaling. We have a breath, finding stability and strength. We exhale down to the knees, rest, extended child's. We inhale, flow forward to kneeling plank, or at this time, if you want to start going to full plank, that's fine. We exhale to downward facing dog. We inhale, find length in the spine. And we exhale, come down to extended child's. And one more time. We'll inhale, flow forward, whatever version of plank you like. We'll take it to downward dog, exhale. We'll inhale, lengthening. And we'll exhale, resting, coming down to extended child's. So we rest for a breath. If your wrists are tired, give them a few figure eights. And then we'll just add to that little flow. On the next inhale, come forward to kneeling plank once again. Stabilize those shoulders. Stabilize your core. On an exhale, we'll come down to the mat, keeping elbows by the rib cage. Once we're down here, let's inhale, peeling up to an unsupported cobra, meaning we're not using our hands or our arms at all. We're only here by using the upper back muscles and shoulder blades. On an exhale, pressing back up and taking it back to extended child's. We'll do that 2 more times. This is basically the middle of a sun salutation, which we're going to add in just a minute. So inhale, coming forward, stabilize the shoulders. Kind of shift as we ease down, hugging your elbows to your rib cage. Inhale to that unsupported cobra. Hug the elbows in more, press up, and take it back to extended child's. One more time. Inhale, flowing forward. Exhale, shifting down. Big breath in for unsupported cobra. And press yourself up, taking it all the way back, and let's just rest. We can stack our hands under our forehead. We can place our hands back by the ankles, whatever is comfortable for us in child's pose. Let's have one more breath resting. And on the next inhale, coming up to all fours pose. We'll step to a forward fold. So 1 foot at a time. We want to step to hip width. We want our feet to be parallel to each other. And then bend the knees. We'll inhale, swan dive, coming all the way up. Reach up, exhale, rest. Good. So stand tall, planting your feet into the mat, squeezing your core. Let's touch our shoulder tops. Have a few shoulder rolls one way. Paying attention to your breath. Let's reverse the direction and go the other way. And come back to your mountain pose. Let's put hands in prayer pose in front of the heart. Let's have a breath in and out. So moving on into our Sun Salutations today, flowing with breath. Just make sure you're breathing enough and don't get out of breath. And of course, remembering our intention, I'm a work in progress, always evolving, always learning. On the next inhale, sweep the arms out and up. As we exhale, hinge from your hips, swan diving, reaching out, and then easing down to your forward fold. We'll bend the knees more. Inhale, rise to a flat back, working the back muscles, shoulder blades, and then exhale, relax the spine. We'll step the right leg all the way back, and we'll look forward to lengthen the spine and ease that knee down to the mat. We'll inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, sweep the arms down. We'll step back to our child's pose and we'll rest. Same sequence we just practiced. Inhale, flowing forward, stabilize the shoulders. Exhale as we shift and lower down. Big breath in for unsupported cobra, and then pressing up, taking it back to your child's pose. Inhale, we'll rise. We'll step the right leg forward. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Stabilize your core. Exhale, ease down. Tuck your back foot and step lightly to forward fold. On the inhale, swan diving up. We'll finish in a chair pose, sending the hips down and back, lengthening the spine, squeezing the core. Let's release. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, we'll start again. Swan dive down. Inhale, we'll lift the spine to a flat back. And exhale, relax, forward fold. This time we'll step the left leg back, look forward, lengthen the spine, and ease that knee down. Inhale, flow the arms up. Exhale, ease the arms down. Take it back to your child's pose. Have a little rest. Inhale, flow forward to kneeling plank. Stabilize. Exhale, ease down to the mat. Hug your elbows to your ribs. Inhale, unsupported cobra. And then press up. Take it back to child's pose. Rest. On the inhale, rise up. Step your left foot forward. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Aim the tailbone down. Exhale, release down. We'll tuck the back foot. Step to forward fold. And on the inhale, rise up with a swan dive. Finish in a chair pose. Send the hips down and back. Let's do it again. Inhale, rise up. We're moving gently. Exhale, sweeping down. Inhaling to flat back. And exhaling to forward fold. We'll step the right leg back. We'll ease down to the knee and lengthen the spine. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhaling down. Stepping the left leg back, taking it to extended child's. On the inhale, flowing forward, stabilizing the shoulders. Exhale, easing down to the mat. We'll inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades, and then press up, taking it back to extended child's. We'll inhale, rise up, step your right leg forward, look ahead. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, ease it down, stepping to forward fold. On the inhale, swan diving up. Nice active back muscles. Finishing in chair squat, keeping your back strong and tall. Inhale, let's sweep up. One more time, we'll flow through it. Exhaling, swan diving. Inhaling to monkey pose, flattening the back. Exhale, releasing. This time we'll step the left leg back, ease down to the knee, lengthen your spine, lift the arms, pay attention to your lumbar that it doesn't ache. Ease down, step your right leg back, child's pose. On the inhale, flowing forward, kneeling plank. Exhaling down to the mat. Inhaling, cobra pose. Pressing yourself up, resting in child's pose. Inhale, we'll rise up, step your left foot forward. Inhale, rise up through the arms. Exhale, sweep it down, lightly step to forward fold. On the inhale, swan diving up. Exhaling, chair pose. We'll inhale, reach up, maybe even look up. Finish in a prayer pose, standing tall in your mountain pose. Let's have a deep breath in. Exhale. Coming back to that intention. I am a work in progress, always learning, always evolving, even on the mat. So let's make sure we're paying attention to how we feel today. Alter, adjust, rest when you need to. Let's relax the arms down and step to face the long side of your mat, which I'll face this way so you can see my alignment better, but you'll be able to grip better on the mat. So step out wide, aim your toes out naturally, and then zip up your core, shoulders back. On an exhale, let's send the hips down and back, keeping the spine as tall as we can without straining at the lumbar. Let's inhale, rise. Exhale, do it again. Send the hips down and back. We'll do it a few times with the breath. So start to match it to your own breath at your own pace. And we're thinking of hinging from hips, keeping the spine tall, sending the hips back and down, making sure the knees stay pretty well set right there. So try not to let your knees shift forward. Keep them right at the ankles. If you feel confident with this version, we can start adding in some arm action. Inhale, rising up, reaching out and up. Exhale, pull down through the shoulder blades. So we're working the shoulder blades with this motion. Legs are working with the squat. And getting some great hip mobility work in. Let's have one more like this. Then let's reach it all the way up. This time we'll swan dive down. Come about halfway or so, no more. Inhaling back up. Exhale, swan diving. So you're just making these big circular motions with your arms. Big motions for your shoulder joints. Hinging from hips, keeping your spine supported. And this version just opens up the hips a little bit more. Let's do that one more time, hinging down. Rising up, we'll rest. Prayer position. Let's walk the feet back together and come back to your mat, stepping to face the short side again. So placing hands on hips, standing tall. Let's step the right leg back for warrior one. So when we get to this warrior one stance, we want that back foot to be at about 45 degrees. So it's not pointing straight forward and it's not pointing out to your side, but right in between. We press down the leg into the foot, into the mat. Right where the foot hits the mat is sturdy. We'll face our hips forward. We'll bring activity to the back muscles in the core, a tall spine, and then exhale, bend that front knee. If we're pain-free in the lower back here, then we can bring the arms up. Just listening to the body and how you're doing in this pose. So again, kind of going through a little checklist with warrior one. You're pressing down at the right foot. You're squeezing your right glute. You're squeezing your core. Your hips face the short side of your mat. Then we're bending that front knee, coming down to our best warrior one. Let's float the arms down and reach back behind us, opening across the heart. Other than that, nothing else has changed. If you're able to and you want to interlace your hands, we can do that. But if we're doing that, we make sure we do that without pain. So no pain in the wrists, the elbows, or the shoulders. Let's have one more breath here. Exhale, hands to hips. Start to hinge from your hips. We're going into pyramid stretch for the hamstring. So let's stop hinging when we get about halfway down. Let's make sure our hips are still squared. So a lot of times we need to press the left hip back and the right hip forward. And then from here, we can lengthen that front leg, easing down to your pyramid pose. And this is where a block comes in handy. If you have a block, having it at the left instep, it just gives you a little more space. It brings the floor up to you. We're making sure that we don't lock either knee. And we're very gently stretching this left hamstring. So we're trying to keep a nice flat back. So ways to increase the pyramid stretch are to actually hinge from your hips a little bit more. Try not to totally round in your spine, but keep that spine long. Let's have one more breath here. And to ease out of it, we'll bend that left knee. We'll walk our way up the leg. Let's inhale, reach up. Exhale, warrior one. To come out of warrior one, bring your hands to prayer pose and step your feet together. Don't trip over your block. You can leave it right there, really, if you want to. So this time, let's step the left leg back. Warrior one, other side. Again, angle that back foot. So it's not pointing straight ahead. It's not pointing out to your side, but somewhere in the middle where it feels natural. Then press down the leg into that left foot. Let's put hands on hips. Square your hips to the short side of your mat, and then bend your right knee. So, checking in with your low back that there's no pain. And if you're pain-free, we can bring the arms overhead. Still scooping in the core to support your spine. Good posture. Pressing that left foot into the mat a little bit more. Coming back to your breath. Inhale, matches, exhale. Let's swim the arms down, reach back behind us, opening across the heart. If we want to, we can interlace. Still squaring our hips to the short side of the mat. Relaxing at your face. On the next exhale, let's release hands to hips. Let's start to hinge from the hips. Stopping when we get halfway down. If you need to adjust your block, placing it at the right instep. Move it wherever you need to. Let's have a big breath in, lengthen the spine. Exhale, start to lengthen your right leg without locking it. So again, we're mindful of both knees. We don't want to lock our knees. Both feet press into the mat. Let's press the heels and the toes, all parts of the feet into the mat. Let's lengthen the spine. And if you want to, we can hinge from hips to increase your stretch. If you're using a block, of course we have 3 heights, so we can come down to the height that works best for us. Let's have about 2 more full breaths here. On that last exhale, bending that right knee, kind of walking your way up, then reaching up through the arms. Exhale, finishing in warrior one. Then bringing hands down without tripping over your block. Let's step to mountain. Good. Just have your block nearby. We might use it again in a minute. And this time, step out wide to face the long side of your mat for some warrior two poses. So we'll start with feet just wide apart, knees are soft, and we'll aim the left foot forward and the right heel slightly back. We'll square the hips to the long side of the mat. We can put hands on hips to start with. Let's have a deep breath in, really pull in the core, and then let's bend that left knee keeping the hips squared. So this first side, we're just really mindful of the hips. That's why we have our hands on our hips still. So mindful that your hips still face the long side of the mat. So you're pulling that right hip back, and at the same time, we want to point the left knee forward. We can reach out in opposite directions, maybe even look over that left hand. We're breathing deeply. We're coming down to our best warrior two. So with the spine upright, we're trying not to lean forward or lag backwards, but just be nice and upright. If we'd like to add to this today, we'll bend the left elbow, reach into side angle pose, where if this hurts your shoulder, relax it to the hip, that's fine. Maybe today we reach up with it if there's no pain there. We're keeping the core engaged and that front knee bent, and we're trying to rotate the torso so that it does not start to face the floor. Keep that in mind. Keep rotating open. Maybe we reach over the ear, lengthening the body. And then finally going into reverse warrior. Bring that right arm down, left arm up, maybe even looking up. That's up to you. Legs are squeezing, feet engaged on the mat. Spine is tall. Let's exhale, ease back to warrior two. Release those legs, give them a break. Turn toes out, heels in. Prayer pose. Have a deep breath in, plant your feet. Exhale, come down to that wide-legged squat that we did earlier. So options here, we can keep our feet flat. If we want a little more challenge, we can rise up through one heel and down. We're just kind of peeling the heel up, lowering it down, alternating sides, keeping your core engaged. Maybe we even reach out. Up to you. You pick. I'm just giving you lots of options. Deep breathing. And then rest. Rise up. Let's turn the right foot forward this time. Left heel back. Warrior two, other side. Let's hands to hips. That way we can mindfully open those hips or square the hips toward the long side of your mat and keep them there the whole time. Now we start to bend that right knee, coming down to a warrior two stance, then reaching out through the arms, look over your front hand. Warrior two, other side. Constantly checking in with the hips. We're hugging that left hip back, pointing the right knee forward. So squeeze your right outer thigh muscles to help line up your knee. If we want to head into side angle today, we'll bend the right elbow. We'll reach the left arm up. Side angle, revolving that torso and trying to keep the spine long. Again, if this hurts at the shoulder, bring the arm down. Don't do anything that hurts. It's not worth it. And maybe we even reach over the ear for a couple breaths. Really reaching through the entire side of that body. Good. We'll start to make our way into reverse warrior, bringing that left arm down, right arm up, maybe even looking up. Scoop your core in, squeeze your legs. On an exhale, bring it back to warrior two, and we'll come out of this. Release the legs, release the arms. Find that wide-legged squat pose. So you might need to bring your legs in a little bit. On an exhale, bringing hips down and back into that wide-legged squat. Maybe we reach out. I think you know what's coming. This time, if you want to, maybe lifting both heels and down and up. Finding your own pace with it, of course. Working on balance. Building strength in the ankles, the legs. And finally coming down to rest. Good. Bring your hands to heart center. Have a breath. Knees are soft. Don't lock them. And then turn your feet out so that they're parallel to each other. Let's hinge from our hips, easing down to a straddle split. We can use the block once again. For starters, let's try and keep our spine long, kind of like we did in that monkey pose, that flat back pose earlier. So engaging shoulder blade and back muscles. If you're using the block, just make sure you're sturdy on it and it's not going to fall. If you're on the floor, you're just aware of your stability there too. Let's all have a deep breath in. Exhale, relax the spine. If we need to toe heel our way in and reduce the stance, we can. If we need to toe heel our way out and increase our stance, we can. We want a nice stretch in the hamstrings and inner thighs. Let's inhale, flow back up to the flat back. Exhale, relax the spine again. Inhale, flow back up to the flat back. Exhale, relax. One more time, inhale, flow up. Exhale, relax. To come out of this, bring your back up to flat back. Toe, heel in quite a few times because we've been here a while, right? Send the hips down and back, hands to the thighs. Inhale as you hinge up, reach up, and rest. Bring your legs back together. Awesome job. So let's turn to face the short side of the mat again. Coming back to our breath. Rooting down at our feet. Scooping in the core. Moving into a balanced pose today with crescent lunge. We'll start with hands on hips. Let's step the right leg back into a lunge. When we get there, let's think about stability. So we're bending this front knee. We're stabilizing the knee, trying not to let it wobble side to side, trying not to let it go past the ankle, but keeping it in a safe, stable place. From here, let's press through the back heel. That gives us a lot more strength right off the bat. Maybe even lift that back knee just a little. Good. We can bring the arms up if we'd like to. Looking straight ahead. Breathing, matching your inhale to your exhale. If we'd like to add in a twist, we can, but if this is all you want today with a balance pose, just stay right here enjoying that right hip, getting a nice stretch. If we'd like to twist, we'll bring the right arm diagonally across the body, and we'll open up the left arm into a gentle twist. It's gentle, just a small twist. No tension in the spine. To come out of it, inhale, lift the arms back up. Exhale, come to prayer pose, step back together. Let's pause for 2 or 3 deep breaths. Coming back to that steady breathing. Grounding at the feet. Now this time we'll step the left leg back. Hands on hips to start with. Again, think about setting up that front knee for safety and stability. We don't want it to go far over the ankle. We don't want it to wobble left and right. Let's aim it straight ahead. Then we'll press through the left leg. Press through the heel. Lift that knee just a little bit. It's a tiny tweak. I'll do it again. Tiny little tweak. Gives you a lot more stability. Arms lift if you'd like to. Scoop the core in. Feel all the work going on in the back of the left leg. We also feel a nice stretch in the front of the left hip. If you want more for a balanced pose, we'll cross the left arm diagonally across the body. Inhale, open up into a twist, reaching the right arm back just a little bit. Keeping the spine tall. No pain. Inhale, we'll rise back up. Exhale, we'll rest, prayer pose, and step back together. Nice job. I'll turn to face you. You can stay where you are. Stay where you are. We'll start in mountain pose again, this time starting with a few stretches. So let's relax hands to thighs. Stand tall. Aim your tailbone towards your heels so there's no sagging at the low back, no pressure there. Just nice supported spine, using your core muscles to be there, rooted at your feet, tall. Let's inhale, lift up through both arms. Exhale, bring your left arm down, stretch through your right side. Inhale, bring it back up. Now switch, stretch your left side. A few more times, inhale, rise. Exhale, flow into this gentle side stretch. Move with your breath. Listen to your breath. Make sure that you're not rushing it. We'll finish with this left side stretch. We'll ease up on an inhale, reach up, maybe even look up, be active, and then exhale, rest. Hands come to your prayer pose. Good job. On an inhale, let's sweep the arms out and up. On an exhale, let's take a swan dive all the way down. Forward fold, just relax. You can bend your knees a good bit here. Relax your spine. Maybe nod yes with your neck, just letting it lengthen. Have one more breath here. And then exhale, hands to the mat. We'll step to all fours pose. To have a gentle back extension today, let's flow into kneeling plank one more time. Let's carefully lower to the mat one more time. And now we'll come onto our elbows, placing our elbows directly underneath our shoulders. Palms planting on the mat, forearms planting on the mat. Good. Let's engage the core a good bit. Just lengthen your legs. On an inhale, rise up, lift the heart. And we're doing this like we did with unsupported cobra earlier. We're not pressing up with the arms. They're pressing down into the mat. It's more like we're reaching the heart forward. So we don't want there to be any strain in the low back or anywhere in the spine. If you feel a point of tension at a specific place anywhere in your spine, ease out or ease down more. We want this to feel nice. On the next exhale, let's ease down. Rest for a breath. And then place your hands beside your rib cage. Hug your elbows to your rib cage. Press up and take it back to child's pose. Let's have a breath here in our child's pose. On the next inhale, easing up to all fours. And coming down to a seated pose, seated on your hips. Once we get down to the mat, let's find the sitting bones so that we're on the pelvis. Pelvis is aligned so that the spine can be aligned a little bit easier. Then let's bring the right leg in for cradle the baby. So we're rotating from the right hip to make this happen. We're flexing that right ankle gently, and then we're just hand to knee and hand to foot. Now, this is going to look different on everybody. So this is totally fine as long as you're keeping active at the ankle and there's no pain. This is fine. This is fine. See, there's so many places you can be, varying degrees of this pose. What matters is that there's no pain for you and that we're getting a gentle hip stretch. So find your place in this pose. Lengthen your spine. Perhaps shifting the shin and this whole thing a little bit toward the midline to get maybe a little bit more of a stretch. And if you still want more stretch and you've been practicing this pose for a while, feel free to go into the full expression of the pose or try it out, where we put the knee at the elbow and the foot at the other elbow. We're still seated tall. So if trying this pose, you now find yourself hunched over like I am right now, then maybe that's not the version for today. Wherever we are, we want to be upright and protecting our spine. On an exhale, release the foot, cross it over that left leg. Bring the right hand behind you, left arm reaching directly in front of you. On an inhale, let's lengthen the spine. And on an exhale, twist toward the knee. Have a gentle twist all the way up your spine, looking over your shoulder. Neck and head twist last. Let's relax the face. Feel free to close your eyes if you want to. Come back to that steady, even breath where our inhale is the same length as our exhale. On an inhale, bring length to the spine, and as we exhale, gently undo your twist. So lengthen that right leg. This time, hug your left leg in, open at the hip, flex the ankle. And again, everybody's going to look a little different on this. And in fact, you'll probably find that one side is different than the other side. So listen to this side. Don't expect it to be the exact same as the first side. If you want to, we can hug it up more. We want to lengthen the spine. Maybe we bring it toward the midline. And if any of those little tweaks by lifting or shifting to the midline caused you to come out of alignment in your spine, then ease back to a place where you can have that long spine. Of course, option if you want, hand to elbow and knee to elbow, but if we do this, we're aware of the spinal alignment still. Let's have one more breath here. Release the foot and leg, cross it over the right leg. Let's put the left palm behind the left hip. Lengthen your shoulder, your spine, sit up tall. Reach your right arm forward, have a big breath in. And as we exhale, twist, turn toward that knee. Continue your twist up the spine, turning neck and head last. Listening to our breath. Coming back to our intention. Still learning, still evolving. I am a work in progress. On the next inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, undo your twist. Good. Let's come to an easy cross-legged pose. Whatever is comfortable for you. Seated tall. Shoulders back. Let's lift the left arm, bend at the elbow, and gently stretch that left tricep. Gently scooping in the core so that we can keep the spine tall. Looking straight ahead. Trying not to round at your upper back or even at your neck. On the next exhale, release the arm down. Now let's bring the right arm up. Bend at the elbow. We're aiming the elbow up, and that might be plenty of stretch for you, just being right here. Otherwise, you can just gently help to aim the elbow up this way or this way, as long as you're not yanking on your shoulder joint. We're just aware of our joints always in yoga, that our joints are always pain-free. On the next exhale, release the arm down. Seated tall, let's let one ear float to the shoulder. On the inhale, bringing it up to neutral. Exhale, going the other way. On the inhale, we rise back up. Exhale, rest. Good. To come down to lie down on the mat, let's hold the back of one leg, easing all the way down. Once we're down, let's hug the knees to the chest, letting the back flatten, letting the spine decompress, letting your back muscles relax, maybe rocking side to side if it feels nice. And releasing our feet down to the mat, putting our arms back out in a T one more time, heel toeing our feet wider than hip width apart, maybe even to the edges of your mat, and then lowering our knees to the right, letting the left hip rise, gentle twist for the low back, opening through the side of the body. Let's bring it up to neutral and then lower knees to the left, letting the right hip rise. We'll do that one more time. Up to neutral, lower the knees to the right, and then gently lift the knees to neutral and lower the knees to the left. We'll bring them back up to neutral. If you have your block, bring it nearby. We'll bring our arms by our sides, palms down, feet hip width One more time, setting up for bridge pose that we did at the very beginning. On an inhale, lift the hips up, stretching that front of the body. And if we have our block handy, and we want to, we can have a restorative version of this pose, placing the block underneath the sacrum. So probably the medium height or the flat height, placing it right at the sacrum, which is the flat part at the bottom of your spine. So not so far down as your tailbone, and not so far up as the lumbar spine, but that flat, sturdy part in between. And we just rest our weight on the block. We want this to relieve tension in the back, not cause it. So if it's causing you tension, one, make sure you have the block in the right place. Or then two, just come out of the pose. Closing the eyes, relaxing the face, relaxing the jaw, relaxing the neck and the throat. To come out of it, gently lifting the hips, removing the block, and lowering your spine all the way down to the mat. We'll revolve the palms up, shoulders tucked underneath us. We can rest for our final relaxation with knees leaning on each other, or we can lengthen our legs long on the mat. Find a comfortable place. Let's have a deep breath in together. Exhale. Close your eyes if they're not already. Relax your whole body. Maybe even giving yourself a mental scan, starting at the tips of your toes, working your way up the legs, making sure there's no tension anywhere, relaxing the hips, softening the abdomen, relaxing the back, letting the shoulders sink into the mat. Relax the arms all the way down to the fingertips. And again, relax at the neck and the throat. Relax the jaw. Relax the face and even the forehead. Letting your breath start to come back to just a normal place. Letting your body rest. And maybe even coming back to that intention we set. I am a work in progress. No matter my age or circumstance or location, I am a work in progress, always able to learn and grow and evolve. And I highly recommend you staying here, relaxing for a few minutes, just soaking up the benefits from your practice, letting your body rest. And that is where I will leave you today. Thank you for spending a little chunk of your life with me today. And the light and life in me honors the light and life in you. Namaste.